You've been lied to about intelligence your entire life. Society told you that smart people are organized, social, and follow all the rules. They told you that intelligence looks like perfect grades, clean desks, and going to bed early. But here's the brutal truth no one wants to admit. Real intelligence is weird. And I don't mean quirky cute weird. I mean the kind of weird that makes people avoid you at parties, the kind that makes your family worry about you, the kind that makes you feel like an alien pretending to be human. While everyone else is desperately trying to fit in, genuinely intelligent people are doing things that look completely backwards to the average person. They're talking to themselves in grocery stores. They're staying up until 3 a.m. for no apparent reason. They're choosing to be alone when they could be socializing. Their desks look like a tornado hit them. And here's the part that'll make you uncomfortable. If you don't recognize yourself in at least some of these behaviors, you might not be as smart as you think you are. Today, I'm going to show you 5 scientifically backed habits that reveal high intelligence. Not the fake motivation speaker version of intelligence. Not the everyone's special participation trophy version. The real thing. The research-backed, peer-reviewed, uncomfortable truth about how truly intelligent minds actually operate. But I have to warn you, if you discover you don't have these habits, you might not like what that says about you. And if you do have them, you might finally understand why you felt so damn different your entire life. Habit 1. You talk to yourself like you're having a conversation. Let me guess, you thought talking to yourself was a sign of madness. You've probably caught yourself muttering in the grocery store and felt embarrassed. You've rehearsed conversations in your head and worried you were losing it. Well, here's the uncomfortable truth. Talking to yourself isn't crazy. It's cognitive superiority. Psychologists Gary Lupian and Daniel Swingley at the University of Pennsylvania proved this in a study that'll blow your mind. They had people search for specific objects, while either staying silent or talking themselves through the process. The result? Self-directed speech aided people to find the objects faster by 50 to 100 milliseconds, compared to the silent ones. Your brain, when it talks to itself, isn't malfunctioning. It's running an advanced internal seminar. Research from psychologists Gary Lupian and Daniel Swingley suggests that self-directed speech can enhance cognitive processing. In other words, talking to yourself isn't madness. It's your intellect in high gear. But here's what separates the truly intelligent from the average. Intelligent people don't just mutter random thoughts. They have actual conversations with themselves. They argue both sides of a problem. They question their own assumptions. They literally split their consciousness into different perspectives to solve complex problems. The brilliant novelist Heinrich von Kleist figured this out over 200 years ago when he wrote that if we can't discover something just by thinking about it, we might discover it in the process of free speech. He understood that ideas come with speaking. This isn't about positive self-talk or affirmations. This is about using language as a technology for thinking. When you externalize your internal dialogue, you're literally watching your mind work. You can catch errors in real time. You can spot logical fallacies. You can explore ideas that would stay hidden in silent thought. So the next time someone catches you talking to yourself and gives you that look, just remember, you're not weird. You're operating with superior cognitive processing. They're the ones missing out on one of humanity's most powerful thinking tools. Habit 2. You come alive when the world goes to sleep. While everyone else is posting about their 5 a.m. workout routines and bragging about being early birds, you're hitting your creative peak at midnight. You've tried to be a morning person. You've set earlier alarms. You've read all the productivity advice. And it never worked because you were fighting against your own biology. Here's what they don't tell you. Being a night owl isn't a character flaw. It's often a sign of superior intelligence. Satoshi Kanazawa at the London School of Economics studied this extensively and found a clear correlation. Studies, including one from Satoshi Kanazawa at the London School of Economics, have linked nocturnal preferences to higher IQs. Think about it logically. The quiet and solitude of the late hours provide a perfect setting for the mind to wander and explore new ideas. When the world shuts up, that's when intelligent minds turn on. The average person needs constant external stimulation. They need background noise, social interaction, the buzz of daily life to feel energized. But intelligent people? They need the opposite. They need that 2 a.m. silence when there are no notifications, no demands, no interruptions. That's when the real thinking happens. Your late-night habits could just be a reflection of your high intelligence. You're in good company too. Many successful authors, inventors, and thinkers are known for their nocturnal lifestyles. But here's the deeper truth. Night owls aren't just staying up late, they're seeking cognitive freedom. During the day, your brain is in reactive mode, responding to emails, meetings, to other people's agendas. At night, it finally gets to be proactive. It gets to explore, to create, to solve problems that have been brewing in the background all day. Your nocturnal tendencies aren't something to fix with sleep hygiene tips. They're a feature, not a bug. Your brain is literally telling you when it operates best, and society has been trying to reprogram you to ignore that signal. So stop apologizing for being a night owl. Stop trying to force yourself into morning routines that make you miserable. Your intelligence has its own schedule, and it's not 9 to 5. Habit 3. Your workspace looks like chaos, but your mind sees order. You've heard it 1,000 times. A cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind. Everyone from your mother to productivity gurus has told you to organize your space. You've tried. You've bought organizers and label makers and followed minimalism blogs, and then, inevitably, the chaos returns. Good, because here's what those organized people don't understand. A messy workspace isn't a sign of laziness. It's often evidence of a mind too busy with big ideas to worry about small details. The University of Minnesota conducted a fascinating study that completely destroys the organization myth. In an experiment from the University of Minnesota, people in a messy setting came up with more creative ideas than those in a neat space. Disorderly environments seem to inspire breaking free of tradition, which can produce fresh insights, says study author Kathleen Vose, PhD. Think about the greatest minds in history. Einstein's office was legendary for its chaos. Mark Twain's desk looked like a paper tornado. Steve Jobs famously said that creativity is about connecting things that seem unrelated, and you can't do that when everything is filed away in perfect categories. Here's what's really happening. Your messy workspace reflects a mind that makes unexpected connections. Clutter can lead the mind down unexpected paths, sparking fresh associations and unconventional solutions. A messy space allows for serendipitous connections between unrelated objects and ideas. When everything is perfectly organized, you're essentially pre-filtering your environment. You're only seeing things in their designated categories. But intelligence thrives on seeing things that don't belong together and finding the hidden patterns. And for some brilliant minds, the energy spent maintaining order is better directed towards more meaningful pursuits. The organized person's desk tells you exactly what they're working on. The intelligent person's desk tells a story of exploration, experimentation, and the beautiful chaos of a mind that refuses to be constrained by conventional categories. Your mess isn't a character flaw. Your mess isn't a character flaw. It's evidence that your brain prioritizes innovation over organization. And in a world that desperately needs new solutions to old problems, which mindset do you think is more valuable? Habit 4. Your mind wanders, but it wanders brilliantly. You've been called a daydreamer since childhood. Teachers told you to pay attention. Bosses have criticized you for being distracted. You've probably felt guilty about your wandering mind, thinking it means you lack focus or discipline. But what if I told you that your wandering mind isn't a weakness, it's a superpower that most people don't possess? Researchers at the Georgia Institute of Technology discovered something remarkable. Research led by Eric Schumacher and Christine Godwin from the Georgia Institute of Technology indicates that daydreamers are often better problem solvers and possess more efficient brain systems. Research from the Georgia Institute of Technology found that people who frequently daydream tend to score higher on intelligence tests. Here's what's actually happening when your mind wanders. Your brain is conducting background processing that conscious thinking can't access. While everyone else is focused on the immediate task, your mind is making connections across different domains, solving problems that haven't even been fully articulated yet. It turns out that letting your mind drift is part of how the brain solves complex problems. Creativity, after all, often emerges when you're not trying too hard to be productive. The average person's brain operates like a single-threaded computer, one task at a time, linear thinking, immediate problem solving. But the intelligent mind operates like a multi-core processor, running multiple thought processes simultaneously, making connections in the background while handling surface-level tasks. That's why breakthrough insights often come in the shower, during walks, or in those moments between sleep and waking. Your conscious mind isn't working on the problem, but your unconscious is making connections that conscious thought would never discover. Your daydreaming isn't distraction. It's your brain's research and development department working on problems your conscious mind hasn't even identified yet. The world needs people who can see beyond the immediate, who can connect seemingly unrelated concepts, who can envision possibilities that don't exist yet. That's not happening in focused, controlled thinking. That's happening in the beautiful chaos of the wandering mind. So stop apologizing for zoning out. Stop trying to force constant focus. Your intelligence needs space to roam, and the greatest discoveries happen when you give it that freedom. Habit 5. You choose solitude when others choose social time. This one's going to sting for a lot of people. You've been told your whole life that being social is healthy, that networking is crucial, that isolation is unhealthy. Every productivity guru preaches about collaboration and community. But here's the research that nobody talks about. Highly intelligent people are actually less happy when they socialize frequently. The British Journal of Psychology published a study that completely destroys the socializing is always good myth. According to research published in the British Journal of Psychology, highly intelligent people experience lower life satisfaction with more frequent socialization with friends. They found that highly intelligent people were not as happy with their life if they socialized with their friends more often. This isn't antisocial behavior. This isn't shyness or social anxiety. This is your brain telling you that it needs different inputs than average minds. Highly intelligent people often value their alone time. This isn't about being antisocial or shy. Instead, it's about the need for solitude to recharge, think deeply, and let their minds explore new ideas and concepts. Think about what happens in most social interactions. Small talk, sharing opinions, discussing events. For the average person, this is stimulating and energizing. For the intelligent person, it's often intellectually draining because their minds operate at a different frequency. Solitude can stimulate creativity and innovation, which are hallmarks of high intelligence. It allows for introspection, self-analysis, and the opportunity to work through problems without external distractions. When you're alone, you can think at your natural pace. You can explore ideas without having to explain them at every step. You can change direction without consensus. You can dive deep without worrying about losing others in the complexity. Your preference for solitude isn't social dysfunction, it's cognitive necessity. Your brain requires uninterrupted processing time that group interactions simply can't provide. If you're someone who tends to prefer the company of ideas over people, it's not that they dislike people, they just prefer the company of ideas. Your mind is having fascinating conversations that most people couldn't follow anyway. So there you have it. 5 scientifically backed habits that reveal high intelligence, and they're all things that society tells you are wrong, weird, or unhealthy. If you recognized yourself in these behaviors, Congratulations, I'm sorry. You now understand why you've felt different, why you've never quite fit in, why people have tried to fix you your entire life. You're not broken. You're not antisocial. You're not disorganized or unfocused or weird. You're intelligent, and intelligence looks different than what society expects. If you didn't recognize yourself in these behaviors, that's information too. Maybe you've been conditioned out of your natural tendencies. Maybe you've spent so much energy trying to be normal that you've suppressed your actual intelligence. Or maybe, and this is the hardest truth to face, maybe you're not as intelligent as you thought you were. But here's what I want you to understand. Intelligence isn't a consolation prize for being weird. It's not an excuse for being different. It's a responsibility. If you have these traits, if you think differently, if you see patterns others miss, then you have an obligation to use that gift. The world doesn't need more people who think like everyone else. It needs people who talk to themselves and discover new solutions. It needs people who stay up late and see possibilities others miss. It needs people who find order in chaos and make unexpected connections. It needs people whose minds wander into territories no one else explores. It needs people who can think deeply in solitude and emerge with insights that groups could never generate. Your weird habits aren't just signs of intelligence. They're the tools intelligence uses to change the world. So stop trying to fix yourself. Stop apologizing for being different. Stop forcing yourself to be normal. The world has enough normal people. What it needs is more people brave enough to be brilliantly, unapologetically weird. Your intelligence is not just a feature of who you are. It's a responsibility to who you could become. The question isn't whether you're intelligent. The question is what you're going to do with it. Now, stop reading about intelligence and go use yours.